Yo, people, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Dovydas guesting with us. It's an awesome conversation. And this is our first one in person. Also, our first time having Casey Sable, producer and former vocalist of Periphery, co-hosting with me. Dovydas is a badass guitarist and YouTuber. He takes suggestions from the crowd of songs to play, makes it up on the spot with a looper, and then sits down and improvises guitar over top of it. And he sings. Fabulous conversation today, folks. Let's get into it.
You want to ride the YouTube thing to the top, basically, or do you have, and forgive me for asking, but do you have like an artist thing going on too, or what's your...
Oh, you didn't brief him.
He didn't fucking brief himself.
You didn't do homework.
Yeah, it's just more fodder for discussion, isn't it?
Jamie, pull that up. Pull that up, Jamie.
Pull up, Jamie.
Hi, my name is Dovydas. I'm 29. I'm 30. And
When was your... That's right, your birthday was...
it was September 5.
Fuck yeah, happy birthday,
I'm
brother.
30 now.
Yeah.
Here's to you.
You're 30?
Thanks, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I post videos on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I know that, yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly for children.
Children's content?
Yeah,
Children's
and
content?
I build Lego stop enemies.
Honestly, that'd be pretty awesome. Just saying. I'd respect you even more.
Yeah. Just like a little figure of Mike become the knight, and little like sword guitar with like Legos and stop animations, you know, just and then like a Jim Beam button.
It's literally just like 2 rooms. It's Lego me on a Lego chair talking to a camera, bitching about something, then like running off to the bed and laying there, just having an existential crisis.
Existential crisis kit from Lego, sold separately.
It's not a bad idea for musicians. I feel like we're kind of the ones most practiced in existential crises.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the... Speaking of which, that's kind of like, to me, it's always kind of been one of my recurring kind of like rejuvenations as an artist is of doing music for a living is I feel like if you don't hate yourself at least once or twice a week and feel like you should quit music, you're not working hard enough, or at least you're not being honest enough with yourself is your shit as good as, you know, your idols? And
Right.
I'm always like, as you know, I'm sitting in front of Pro Tools for a living. I kind of moved to Nashville just to be sitting in front of Pro Tools for a living. And so all I'm ever doing is referencing my work against the work of the people I love the most. And man, it's only been within the last year that I feel like I've been able to do work up to par, you know. But I'm not as lucky as you guys with like, I don't have the comments to rely on to know if...
Dude,
you know,
okay, you say that, but a lot of the comments
there's no forum
suck.
for it.
Like,
Probably not very useful.
like
yeah.
the comment section on critiquing mixes is the same as going to like Gear Sluts. I mean, like, it's just it's not super valuable. Like,
Yeah.
okay, sometimes it can be, but not usually. One of the things that I love about what you do, Dovey, that we've talked about a few times, you're one of the few YouTube or social media musician guys who puts it all out there, unedited, uncorrected. You are unabashedly you.
Yeah.
And that takes a massive fucking dick. Like, it is badass as hell, man.
And to be clear, I've seen enough of your content. I just didn't know if you were releasing music by itself or if your YouTube thing was your main thing, because I actually watched one today where it was one of your The Singer Steals the Show pieces. Right. And it was the same guy you had on another one. It was a big, handsome black dude who I think, I don't know if you know him, but it happened twice.
Yeah, do you know that guy?
The first video, I did not know him.
It was Tennessee Whiskey. Was
Tennessee
that the first
Whiskey.
one? That was the first one he was on?
Somebody requested. I'm like, I can do the instrumental, and then he's like, I can sing it. It's, you know, and it's a hit or miss. When somebody says I can sing it on the street, it's like, but it's the street. So sure, what key do you do it in? I was like, G or A. Oh, he knows keys. Good.
Yeah.
You know, and then the rest, dude, he nailed it. It was so good.
Yeah.
And then the second video, the second time it was like almost like a year, maybe like eight months later. He was on vacation again and doing some gigs in the area. And at the time, I already had his phone number and said, look, I'm going to be playing again. You want to show up? And he showed up. And we did Tennessee Whiskey again for like, I don't know, 5 people. And then we did. He said he knew Simple Man, so I put together Simple Man, and he sang Simple Man, and yeah.
Man, that's one of those songs where I think I like every cover I've heard of it more than the original.
Okay.
I've listened.
Shinedown in particular.
I've listened to a ton of black men sing Tennessee Whiskey at karaoke, and I feel like every single one of them has sung it better than any of the white guys I've heard sing it. And I think because at its heart, even though it's got a southern twang to it, I think it's a soul song. I think it's actually soul, When you break it down, it's really got more of that gospel blues background. Just replace the guitar and the drums with a piano.
But when you break down all rock and roll, isn't it really?
It's literally
not all of it.
It's literally Etta James. I'd rather go blind.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's the same in chords, instrumental tempo. It's the same. It's Etta James.
So you're saying it's theft?
Well,
Yet another white man steals from the black man.
So the Tennessee Whiskey, the lyrics are. Who does it? The Possum. Who's the country singer? His nickname is the Old Possum.
I don't know.
I should know that.
We both live
Can
here.
You stop loving her today? Who does that? Well, Anyways, there's a
Jamie.
museum.
Could you pull it up?
Yeah, Jamie.
Anyways.
Oh fuck! I can Jamie this right now.
Yeah, Jamie it right now. Yeah.
What's the lyric?
It's just the Old Possum, country singer. And then he'll pull it up. When he's young, he looks like Jim Carrey.
Country singer, Old Possum.
Mm-hmm.
George Jones.
Yes, George Jones.
Shut up, Google.
So there's Tennessee Whiskey, right? And then it's totally different instrumental, totally different tempo. And then who does Tennessee Whiskey the way it's done now? Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the instrumental is Etta James. I'd rather go blind. Dum dum dum. Even the rate of vibrato on the electric guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Who did I play it with? And we did both songs back to back, just within one song. It's like it's the same thing. Yeah.
It's funny, there was my friends that you were talking about LA recently, where I lived for 12 years. I moved to Nashville last year, and my friends, one of whom actually is going to be coming on this podcast in a couple of weeks, my friend Anthony Broder, he had this cover group called the Sex Havers, and their spiel was that they would mash up top 40 hits from the last 60 years, and they would mash them up based on them having the same chord progression and tempo. When you think about the different lawsuits that have taken place over the last however many decades, where Tom Petty will sue
when
whoever,
the Marvin Gaye estate sued Robin Thicke, I was like, dude, there's so much more blatant theft out there, and you're gonna chase after this one.
It's just, what is the song, because of the progression, tempo. I mean, in pop music, there's only 10, and it's I don't know. It's interesting to explore to me, what it is about. Is it the textures of the production that make it instantly recognizable? You probably get a lot of that though, because I mean, you end up I mean, if you're able to take
that's
requests
kind of
on
what
demand,
you do, right?
Yeah, you're taking requests on demand. You would probably be in a unique position to really be like, oh, this. No.
Have you ever gotten a copyright claim for any of your improvs that are taking requests and then doing your own version of it?
It depends what label owns it. So it's like Foxy Lady. It's good luck covering Foxy Lady, because so it's whenever I request Hendrix, I just do a Bob Dylan song all along the Watchtower. So it's good luck taking that.
Wait,
I mean, it's not like you're actually literally doing a one-for-one Foxy Lady.
But they're it's anyways, it's a cover of a song. It's and it goes to the estate, and stuff like that,
So there are people who actually come after you. Do you ever have
Hotel California?
Is that because you're profiting?
Okay.
Is that because you're profiting from the channel, the streams on the views on the channel?
It goes way deeper than that, Casey.
Yes, there's like a ring, underground sting ring, okay, of these YouTube monetization elites.
Yeah,
that live in Sacramento, and they have this pizzeria, but actually it's not a pizzeria.
Yeah.
All right. No joke though. They literally do hire teams of people paid just above minimum wage in California to just hunt down and manually claim stuff, whether it's true or not. They just go claim it. They pay people shitloads of money just to ruin other
Just
people's
to get
day.
in the way of other. Yeah, God, that's such a bitch.
in the theaters near you.
So any of
One
those
man where the phone will hunt the claim. No video is safe.
in a fake pizzeria in Sacramento.
That is not fair, claimed.
So, like, any of those claims that you got, have you tried fighting any of them, or you just say fuck it?
No,
not even
not
worth your
worth
time?
it because I post so many videos.
Yeah, you have an insane volume. It's pretty
one
nuts.
a day.
Yeah, one a day the entire year.
Yes.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
How do you pull that off?
Okay,
Are you really
this
making?
this is the secret, everyone. Listen closely.
So
Listen closely.
I do a show. I play live, like 2 or 3 hours, right? Sometimes with a break. I can do like 2.5 hours with no break. That's like 20 songs, approximately, and then each song is a video. And so if I do that just once a week, videos for years. Yes.
Yeah.
His
So,
fucking back catalog of stuff he's just not released is like
Yeah, like probably 1,000. Just like ready to go.
he could just take off for 3 years.
Yeah,
not blink.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm not editing. I'm not editing
Really?
anything new.
Wow.
I did on my last road trip for 2 months. I did 12 shows, 12 times approximately 25. How many videos is that?
a lot.
I don't know. Yeah,
That's one of the things that I actually found really interesting when I did discuss this with you about like your whole how do you just throw that out there? Aren't you worried people are going to pick apart everything? And I don't remember if you said yes or no, but I think what you said to me was that you liked the attitude of the old blues musicians, and you kind of pull from that and find inspiration in that.
Yeah, like a Howling Wolf video from the 1965 for Newport Jazz Festival, and it's like a handheld camera in the front, but somehow that's like a legendary performance. It's a legendary video, or like or any live video of anyone ever, or like rare footage. It's the
bootleg
Slash when he was without the hat, something. It's like gets millions of views. Or I don't know.
And in what's the word? In synergy. Oh God, I hate that word. In synergy with that, there's also the aspect of the classical discipline is to like have this like exactly how you're going to play it every single time. This level of perfection or perceived perfection.
Yeah,
and you're just like. Fuck that.
Yeah, I did.
I'm doing it my way every time.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, I tried that because I went to like Conservatory of Music and they kind of tried that. No, it's I don't know. Even the people that I admire, well, not everybody. I actually do prefer the train of thought that even the ones that write the song, each time they play it, it's not the same. I don't learn solos. Like the hell with that. Why?
I learned solos because I don't trust my my improv vocabulary anymore.
Okay, I can see how that. Okay, but yeah, I don't know. I just.
So what would you regard as the difference between learning a solo and playing it the same way every time as though it's a recital versus singing the top line the same way every time? And why is it? Have you ever explored why that you kind of see that's different? Where the solo is, I'd imagine
I would even ask,
improvisational because it's so important that it be that type of expression. Whereas if you sing the song exactly the same way every time,
but you're assuming he does sing the song exactly the same way every time.
A lot of people don't, but you sing the chorus. There are moments you have to hit for it to be recognizable as that song, or for it to even be that song, right? So where do you draw the line? Have you ever considered that, or?
Yeah, no, there's no line, especially
with solos.
With anything. I've done like Ghostbusters and like, or like, can you play "Let It Go" from Frozen? And then I just like restructure it, and it does it like I don't even know the second part. It's like let it go, let it go,
fuck, let it go.
So then I just looped like let it go, let it go. Let it. That's it.
Yeah.
So people's memory is not a DVD player. So they can't rewind it. Each time they try to rewind and remember something new gets added, and it's not accurate. So actually, approximately, you need to hit 10% match to trigger this nostalgic memory response, like, oh, that's the song. And it's just like 10% of that song. And the rest I can do whatever.
An electronic
so roughly
mashup
10%
sampling.
is the line, then I guess, right?
Yeah, like I've done like, what else did I don't know, like Crazy Train. I don't know the riff. I don't know anything. All I did was, the rest, whatever. They loved it.
Wow.
You know, and it's, because is it, you know, and what I'm discovering, it's like, especially in-person performance, you know, it's not like a transactional, can you do this, and then you have to deliver the code, the source code of the song. It's like, and then the Morpheus is like, he's ready. And it's not like that. It's sort of like playful, you know, and just like you let them, and then they dance, and it's, I don't know. Actually,
I'm picturing Neo looking up to Morpheus being like, I know, let it go.
Yeah. It's really a matter of the audience, I would think, too, though, because, I mean, if you're Dream Theater, you know, you play one fucking note wrong, and your audience
that's
is
because your
noses up.
audience is really irritated virgins.
yeah.
Like they're going to be really
But
pissed
they're
off.
they're
if
your
it's not
audience,
the
though, and
same.
they're,
Right.
not, they're your audience, though, and they're not, that's their audience, and that's not your audience. And your audience is there to have just super as much fun as possible, and you have like your showmanship is terrific, and they're also giving you a lot of grace with like that you're doing it all yourself on the spot, and that's really difficult and comes with a whole different set of expectations on the part of the audience.
Right.
I feel like there's definitely a either a dichotomy or just some type of polar what's the word? Paradigm of two different schools of thought, where there is the like, this is the composition, this is the best way of doing it, try and reach that pinnacle of perfection, versus the other school, which is like, music is organic and should be as much of a personal expression as possible, you know? And I find that really fascinating, especially when thinking about Victor Wooten. Have you ever read Victor Wooten's book, The Music Lesson?
No.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it to everyone.
Okay.
He also has a sequel now that I haven't picked up yet, but I need to.
I think I read that at Berkeley, actually.
Oh yeah, it's mandatory reading at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And his whole thing.
Well, not unless you're a bass principal, but
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
But his whole thing is about like keeping music a natural flow and thinking about it similarly to how you would think about language. And when you speak with a note that's like a letter, when you speak with a series of notes, it's like a word, and then you create phrases and then paragraphs. But like when we speak to one another, we're not thinking about like how we exactly wrote out exactly what we're going to say ahead of time. We're just doing it off the top of our head because we have a mastery of English, right? Mm-hmm. And he's translating that into, well, how would you do that musically? Have a mastery of that understanding of music and your instrument so well, you can just speak it and people just get it. You know what I mean? I find that extremely fascinating. And the perfect demonstration of that, I don't remember where the fuck it is. I can't find it anymore. It was him and Eric Struthers literally playing random shit. Like, I don't even know that there was a key center.
You told me about this the other day.
Yeah, like I don't even know that there was a key center, and it was like very chromatic, and they just spoke to each other in perfect harmony. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And I definitely think there's a place for both of those. I feel like you come closer to that side of things.
You're doing a lot of improvisational stuff. Obviously. Yeah.
And you're having a moment, you know?
Yeah. It kind of goes hand in hand with the structure of living life.
Mm.
You know, you can 9 to 5 in the most basic description, 9 to 5 office, whatever, you know, but like, or school, graduating, internship, job, promotion, maybe opening your own thing, freelancing, you know, and then there's sort of like a structure to it, you know. Yes, there are people, you know, making YouTube videos, and that's when I discovered sometime in 2016 that, hey, actually, like PewDiePie is like a millionaire. Like, what? No way, you know. And then I tried, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk maybe about something, and I'm going to do YouTube videos or something like that. But somehow I stumbled upon the idea that I can actually film my performances, you know. So, and then, you know, different places and just random stuff, you know. And then the first video that took off was like 3 people in the audience, but it was like all improvisation and actually having either lack of care or courage, to even attempt it,
When someone requests Steve Vai.
Yeah.
Yes. No. I love that video though.
And then so I never had a real job and never followed the structure. So why should I apply any kind of structure to the performance of music? Well, yeah, it's 4/4. It's within the tempo. It's sometimes within the key unless I modulate. But other than that, it's all rock and roll. Yeah. And what's the most important instrument? It's the audience.
All right.
That's the instrument.
Speaking as a person who is very strict on definitions.
We argue about this all the time.
Define this. Define how the audience
couldn't agree
is an
more,
instrument.
by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Define how the audience is an instrument.
So imagine a venue, a room, right, is like an inside of an acoustic guitar.
There's reverberance there, yeah.
Whatever.
It's a chamber, it's a cavity.
Right. Then the interior designers, there's like an entire industry of these professionals that study mood lighting, setting, the vibe, or the experience when you enter a room. There's a reason why churches of Catholic Gothic design feel intimidating. There's a reason why offices and hospitals have a creepy vibe, and there's a reason why like nightclubs purposefully put like cool LED and vertical gardens and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a guitar. Like you pick up a PRS, right? Look, it's blue flame maple with like these knurled knobs, and then
which makes it play better, right?
It's like, oh, it swishes so pleasantly. Like what the fuck? That does nothing, right? But it's important because we're humans, So texture, color, like why do you I don't know, prefer like let's say blondes and brunettes, like what does that matter? So everything is so interconnected that when you gather a group of people, like sometimes like people get ticked off if the table is wobbly, and then imagine they're sitting for like 2 hours listening to a band and the table is wobbly, so that particular section might affect their mood or the attitude or whatever. So that's why it's like there's a warm-up band. What is it warming up? What is the warm-up act warm up? It's the audience. And then,
audience, yeah.
And
Terrible.
And then like towards the end of the show or towards like the middle, you can actually like prime example, Freddie Mercury, and the Wembley, the video, of them in Wembley, and him just doing a hey, oh, and just a bunch of people as one at the same time, hitting the same note, and then dropping the same note, and then watching him, and then just all playing together. It's a highly religious experience. It predates, Catholicism and Christianity and Islam and Hebrew. It predates all of that, because there was a shaman, a dude with a stick. Normally, why is it a stick? I don't know. Maybe it was a speaking stick, or it's just good, like to hit over the head and climbing on the higher rock. That's what the concept of the altar comes, of the stage comes, and holding the fire and holding the ground, essentially to speak, so I don't know, it's like bringing people together, and now this is like, this is one person is going to unite, or like one group, and especially with amplified sound, I don't know, it's literally like you're tuning the people, and you're like drawing
tuning
them in.
The people.
Yeah, like you're tuning.
Feels like that's the title of your next track, Casey. Tuning the people.
So it's like, how's everybody doing? Yeah, good. No. How's everybody? Boy, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So it's like so related to that. So especially playing for strangers. So it's like it's cold reading and hot reading. You go to a psychic. They rip you off. Sometimes they do cold reading. I see a male figure. I see a letter K or D. Someone you
letter
looked up
E
to.
Usually,
exactly. And let's try to guess.
RSTLNE.
But like hot reading, they already know something about you. So a hot reading would be like the audience, like they know the band, they heard the songs, they bought the tickets ahead of time, and doing like cold shows. And cold shows is essentially, hey everybody, this is a happy hour at such and such bar. My name is so and so, and I'm gonna play for the next 3 hours here.
Yep.
Yep. And then there's a way, there's a method, there's a technique, and there's a magic. 1.5 hours in, oh my God, you're like the best we've ever seen, What's your, are you on, and then if you can like convert them to your religion, and by religion, I mean the belief that you are actually a good musician. That's a win. and that's a validation. So after I've done that, to 2 or 3 people, saying, what if I could do that to 2 or 3 people on YouTube? So I just like posted all of that,
And would you do it if you couldn't get that audience response?
You just you adapt, overcome, improvise.
No, he's asking if you couldn't
guess
get that
I
audience
presumed
response,
the
would you still
context
do
would-
it anyway?
Oh, I don't know. Because
All right.
I was
That's a fair answer.
It worked every time.
It's kind of a hard question that all musicians have to face, I feel, at some point, at creators, artists, is that on one hand, you'll have artists who say, I make it because I have to, because I'll feel unfulfilled, I'll be depressed, I'll have this thing inside me that
It's an emotional outlet.
for which there won't be an outlet if they don't express it. The other people who are just kind of realizing, man, if I couldn't show this to anyone, art's kind of like a tree that fell in the woods and there was no one there to hear it. Did it really fall?
Right.
And that's kind of my perception of, and Mike and I argue about this all the time, is that I don't think art is a thing. I think it's an experience, because if there's no one to perceive it, then it doesn't have any effect, right?
Okay.
There's no experience there.
Really quick before we get too deep into that.
That's a whole can of worms for sure that we shouldn't.
No,
shouldn't.
I don't mind
For
going
now,
there.
for now,
I
for now.
just really want to quickly cap off what you said about the audience being an instrument and then tuning the audience.
That's so cool. I love that idea,
I
too.
love that concept.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I would probably only fight you on the, what's the word? It starts with an S. It's like it has to do with descriptions and meanings of definitions.
Semiotics?
No, not no, fuck it. I forget the word. Oh,
semiotics.
I'd fight you on the definition maybe of what an instrument is, but otherwise the concept is beautiful. Love it. Absolutely.
It's so weird because it's like there are so many, and again,
semantics.
this is something.
That's the word. Semantics.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Semantics, yeah.
okay, so the church organ is an instrument, right?
Yeah.
And how much of that aesthetic, like how much of the aesthetic and the context of the experience for the audience is provided when they show up and they see this enormous fucking monstrosity, and it's in a cathedral,
And it smells like rotting wood.
Which is amazing. There's all this context that totally shapes the perception of the audience, and without those facets of that experience, would they have the same experience? Definitely not. And that I feel, especially when it's part of the set design or the artist's intention to, how they want to present themselves as a performer. Mm-hmm. If so much of it has to do with your stage show and the props that you're using and the setting in which it's occurring, then it's almost as though that's definitely part of the artistic performance itself.
Again, that's undeniable.
So a church organ is an instrument.
Yes.
And the church choir, comprised of people that sing bass and tenor and alto, whatever, soprano, is also an instrument.
I'd call it an ensemble comprised of instruments, but
right.
sure,
But so it's like kind of like, so you can like arrange, this, you sing this, you sing that, and you sing these, so kind of like people. So it's not necessarily like music, but I don't know who said that, but like the highest form of music is just the sounds of nature, because it's like purely chaotic.
Yeah, he's fucking wrong, but okay, continue. Continue.
Well, just like you enjoyed the chromatic conversation that perhaps neither of us have the knowledge of jazz theory to comprehend exactly which direction they were thinking but you were able to enjoy and appreciate that.
Yes.
In the context, this is a musical performance. What if just like the meme of like, brain shining and then it's the universe and it's like you just fucking explode. What if the highest one is like birds and river sound and like the trees and then even fucking like a semi. What if all of that? What if you had even like a wider range of acoustic perception ability? What if all of that is also music and you could like hear patterns? And then what if you could even see that is like like that, and then it's like like reverberates differently through because you can't see but the air is moving.
That's called synesthesia, I think,
not
right? Where you can see colors.
That's not what he's saying. That's not
it's like you pour sand on the thin sheet that's lit up from up below and then it shapes itself differently.
Yeah, semantics. That shit is sick, dude.
Right. So
you ever seen that video?
Not sure. But yeah. Sorry. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what if you could like perceive even like
the music and all of the sounds? Yeah.
All of sound.
Yeah.
And then like really have like a 4-dimensional comprehension. So people in the room after you tune an audience, because okay, so you go to a assembly food hall and there's no band playing, so everyone's in their own. So they're their own little micro thing, a table. Somebody's replying to an email. Somebody's talking like,
and they're thinking about eating. They're thinking about drinking.
But then you place someone performing. That's not annoying. That's not like you're all going to hell kind of thing. No, it's like a song, and then the song they heard maybe, so it connects with nostalgia, it connects with memory, it connects with an origin, it connects where they come from. Maybe they heard that song when the first time they did something, and then all of a sudden, maybe even partially, the attention turns, and then the sound they produce, I don't know, it's like claps, and then hell yeah, so all of that.
Yeah.
That's the river. That's the trees, and that's the birds.
Yeah.
And what if you could cause the wind? And you, what if you do that, and then you cause the thunder, and then you do that, you cause a volcano. So you can do that with people.
Oh,
I love the concept.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Again, I love the concept. Again, I would disagree with the semantics of the words that you're choosing. But I love the concept.
It's metaphor though. So the
I know
semantics
I know it's fucking metaphor.
I know you know it's metaphor. It's just the semantics really aren't applicable at that point. I think because it's
extreme. That's one of the big things I want to suss out.
I mean, but I mean, the thunder in a mix is the bass and the kick drum, right?
Right. But
sorry, go ahead.
It's like, okay, so you pick a string with a pick, and then the string moves, and then the magnetic pickup, and then the cable, and then the speaker, and then the SM57 sends it to the front of the house, and the front of the house pumps it out. What if all of that is also just like a piano key? You hit the piano key, and then there's a hammer, and the hammer, there's a latch that holds the string mute, and then it opens up, and the hammer, boom, and then it lets it ring. Right? So what if the mechanism is actually to move the people? Because isn't the art's purpose, like you said?
Yeah,
it's to move the people. So
if we want to take it as literal as possible, the vibrations that you make literally move the eardrum. If you want to take it as literal as possible.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to.
You definitely weren't done. You definitely weren't finished. I feel like he was going elsewhere with it.
No. Yeah.
So,
I'm just adding to it. Yeah.
So you are the latch and the hammer and the key and the guitar pick and the magnetic pickup to move the strings, which would be hearts of the people, and then you move them. And then, like just like a string, it oscillates in ellipsis.
Why did you pick strings? Why did you pick strings?
Because I play them. So
okay.
That's the closest one I can.
So I find it. Hold on, really quick.
Snake charming. Just saying that. That's I just one of those two words.
Okay, some of that.
Snake charming.
Well, they beat them with the thing, with the flute, because they can't hear it, and then they follow it because they don't want to get hit. So that's
I didn't actually know the mechanisms of how that actually.
Yeah, I didn't even know
that's
that.
How they train, because they hit them over the head, and then they open the thing, and they see the flute, so they're like,
I didn't know
dodging
that. Okay.
It. Yeah, so yeah,
makes me.
But I was thinking more of string theory. Actually, are you familiar with string theory?
Oh god,
I'm not going to throw it out there. I haven't read a shitload of it myself.
I don't think any of us have a degree here.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Anything
I agree. No
there
degrees.
are no physicists in the room.
Oh, I can tell you about G-string theory.
There it is. Yeah, tell me about why you came to Nashville. Maybe not publicly. Never mind.
I don't know. It's up.
Cornbread.
I can edit things out if you're not comfortable with this, for the record. But.
No,
it was a joke he made earlier. It's not it.
On the record, I would say that it's a part of character development, and just like actually it being free for the first time.
Wait, what is part? Oh, coming here, you're saying is
no, just traveling and going on the road. It was like with someone for 9 years and married for 2, and then going through a divorce right now, and like I didn't realize how bad it was until after I got out.
You've already gotten married.
Well,
and
I mean, it's a process, but I left.
It's done. It is done.
Yeah, it's done. But
well, congrats.
Thanks.
Or condolences.
No,
I don't know which one.
No, congrats.
Congrats for sure.
Because I was
surely
not
had
happy,
to,
So it's essentially just traveling and discovering who I am, and Like, I didn't realize that I liked driving by myself. I didn't realize that I liked Waffle House at 3 in the morning. And I didn't realize that when I fly alone domestically, I like to read a book. I just didn't know because I was never alone, you know? It was just, dude, yeah. So it's just...
I've had far enough of my share of alone time. I'm very identified with that alone self for sure.
Yeah, existential crisis Lego kits.
You're
exactly.
At least you're good at it, though. You know.
Oh yeah,
you have
I'd
to
say
get
I'm sufficient,
you have to get good at being alone before I feel you're ready to give the best version of yourself to someone else. Because otherwise, what is it that you're giving them? Anyway, that's
that sounds about right.
All right, so with the string theory thing, the reason why I found it fascinating that you were like each of the people are vibrating as you pluck them like a string. You know what I mean? Like you enact your action on them and then they respond. Is that I find it very regular that when we talk about the arts or when we talk about something spiritual or we talk about any of these existential shits, there's usually a really clean way of sitting that in to reverberating strings. And that's what string theory claims that like the most basic things of the universe is vibrating strings.
Check this out.
I find it really
that connect
crazy.
universes.
The natural,
but there's that too.
Natural harmonics too. So if you play a perfect fifth with distortion, the reason it sounds happy because there's a naturally occurring third from the root.
Yes.
So just like you move the people and they vibe and feed back, a third is created that enhances both. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know.
Is it a major or minor third though? I can't.
It's a major third on perfect fifth
it's
with distortion.
technically a major third, yes.
Yeah.
Even though we don't perceive it that way.
Naturally, in the harmonic series, the way it occurs is 1, and then there's a half, which is an octave. So it looks like this: 1, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7.
For the audience, Helmholtz.
So those
look up Helmholtz.
Are those not
Helmholtz?
Those are those not odd order harmonics though? Versus even order, which would be like the 2 and the 4 and the.
Well, that's
6.
how they occur naturally in like mathematical division. So an octave in half is essentially fifth. Then I could show you on the guitar or actually any string. You know,
we'll move by it for now. I already told the audience Helmholtz. Go look it up. Fucking it's how we built the diatonic scales.
Yeah. 1, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7. Yeah. And then all the 12 tones from any of those tones, and then that's what creates
all of the Tool fans who jizz in Fibonacci are just having a rage moment right now. This isn't Fibonacci. What are you talking about?
No, yeah. Leonard Bernstein. Oh, if anyone, tell them to look at, well, I'll tell them. Leonard Bernstein lecture on naturally occurring harmonics and how people even started singing when they were cavemen, you know?
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
His lecture on that.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that Tuvan? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the fucking Perlovsky book I'm reading, one of the things I found super interesting was that the earliest known treatment instrument, like one that actually has like treated pitches that fall closer to Helmholtz's thing, was like 30,000 years ago in this one society that it occurred about the same time that they started taking on the lunar calendar as a way of organizing society. It showed up about the same time and that's kind of like part of his whole theory where he's saying that music is a tool to resolve cognitive dissonances. And like when you take on a new way of having to organize your life, it's like, it's a massive cognitive dissonance to have to rethink about time and how you manage it and how the rest of society has to manage it. Yeah. And then suddenly when it's this more ordered, yet you have to adapt to it, this more ordered way of experiencing reality, suddenly a musical process shows up and it's the first pentatonic scale flute.
Well, the coolest thing,
it's really fucking cool.
One of my favorite things about that theory, as in kind of an armchair, eavesdropper upon it, is that the way he explained it to me was that music evolved it evolved naturally as a mechanism to resolve the cognitive dissonances introduced by language.
Yes.
The idea that it evolved naturally is my favorite part about that, I think.
if we're talking
as
about
as a mechanism of resolution,
evolving
distance.
from like animals to like proto-human to human, it evolved throughout that process gradually. Music
that just feels so right to me, and that's all I know about it. I don't know any of the underpinning evidence or anything else about Perlovsky's context for it. It's just feels so correct, right out the gate to me. It's right away.
I think it's human brain probably has something to do with it. Did you know that there's no TikTok? I mean, like
I would love if there was no TikTok.
No, meaning when you
abolish TikTok.
Listen to a clock ticking, and your brain arranges it as a tick-tock. There's no talk.
It's all tick.
It's all the same pitch.
And your brain makes it seem that way.
Yeah.
That's actually a brilliant observation.
Yeah, that's a good... man, that's super relevant, too. Yeah.
So I think people, they arrange everything, even physical space, in boxes, drawers, folders, the cabinets, sorted, put together, pages, and then numbered, and it's like we're like these hexagonal humans are like square. If you would give a shape to Homo sapiens, probably would be a square because everything is arranged in squares, and probably that physical expression of squares could be related to non-physical thought arrangement inside the mind. So perhaps the pattern such as, and that was someone running or an animal. What if that was, and then, because you already have a heartbeat. So that's
I'm just hearing that as
right.
Boom.
You see, so you're like already like, well, but you've been exposed to music ever since you were born.
Yes.
But what if, oh, I know. It probably comes from mother's nursing, and then like because
and
rocking,
keep going, yeah.
So it's probably as ancient as that because the heartbeat is already there. So it's like
yes, the heartbeat is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And there's some relevance to the pop music having a preference to towards like 120 BPM. I think has to do with the heartbeat.
But also with that too, there is specifically a phenomenon, I forget what it's called, but how like when you see something that's like either like a baby human or like something that like an animal that resembles a baby human, you speak in this like, like that type of voice, like you naturally instinctively do that.
That it responds better to that frequency spectrum.
Yes, but also your brain makes your speech become more musical with greater dynamic and also
it is kind of more musical. Yeah, that's okay.
Which is also something I found interesting in what you were saying with the tick and the talk.
Maybe.
Oh, go. Let's do it. Do it.
Maybe.
You're not even high. I love this.
A low tone is a byproduct of testosterone, therefore capacity for danger and aggression. So it's not maybe the fact that you're trying to display having something.
Ergo,
you're trying to display
disarm it.
Lack.
Danger.
Danger. Capacity for aggression.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, because
that's kind of brilliant.
I think it's the lack, not the display. It's the display of lack of what's up,
but it can go both ways because also like the worst, the worst bad guys have the deepest, type of voices. So it depends upon the context, even. Like sometimes it can be horrifying, sometimes it can be comforting.
Why is it cute? Why, baby? Because I have an idea for that. I believe the reason like baby cats and baby dogs and just whatever, like the cuteness is the lack of capacity for danger. Take any animal, lack of capacity for destruction. Oh, that's cute.
That's definitely part of it. Not all of it, but I guarantee that's part of it. It's got to be.
Because I hate to rain on your parade. It's just I think the cutest thing about little cats is that they're fucking murderers.
You can crush them with a hammer.
No, it's that they just all they want to they're little murderers that just can't murder you because they're too small. And so when they bite you and they like are playing with you because they're practicing murdering. it's cute because they're little and they can't do it. You can't really pull it off. Right?
Lack of capacity for danger.
I feel like there's a famous.
Okay, true. Okay, I guess.
Still,
okay, actually,
good
no,
point.
Actually, that's actually the Okay, that is the point.
But also, famous last words.
if they
He's going to
could
be murdered
fucking
by
kill
his
you-
cat
Yeah.
today.
then it wouldn't be cute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a bear, like a full-grown bear.
Or a cat
not-
that's just bigger.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
That's not
Okay,
cute.
but if a bear is being cuddly with you and being like, "Brr," that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. to see.
Kinda. You said kinda.
It's
Yeah.
also
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
for if you're a female
And that also goes back to
you're-
the lack of the capacity for, or it's close to it, the lack of danger because they're disarming themselves around you. So there's something to that.
Yeah, and if you're a female and you're attracted to masculinity and stereotypes thereof, you associate your males grunts and whatever with that with that they're your protector. So in that context, what's so funny?
I just associated it with fucking IBS, but okay, fucking no big deal.
Oh fuck! Oh god, my heartburn. No, there's something to that. It's interesting too because the earlier you said like something about was it like anatomy and physiology being arranged in squares. It's actually interesting because as far as I understand it from the perspective of a draftsman, my fiance is a draftswoman. Women are constructed using ovals and circles to draw the female body, whereas with men it's squares. And a lot of times you'll see artists who are really good at drawing women but can't draw men, and vice versa. It's almost like the masculinity thing is reducible to the squares, and the femininity is kind of more of a difference in harmony that yields rounded edges, right? Which is, I don't know, kind of
Hot.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like voluptuousness in a woman isn't because she's square, right? It's because she's round. And that there might be some kind of harmonic, what's the word?
You're gonna connect this to
product,
music,
right? I was goddamn trying. I was hoping that if I said it out loud, there might be a punchline. But there wasn't.
No worries.
There wasn't.
It's a valiant effort. At least it was
tried.
still an engaging thought, regardless.
I
Still
think
pretty
there's
cool.
I think there's something to it.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Sage Dovey?
Well, the hip shape bone is different.
But the face,
In the best way.
I believe.
breasts, hips.
Well, that's testosterone ravages the face. That's what
Yeah.
pushes this out,
Yeah.
makes this
Yes.
like that, and then this like so it's like the boys and girls up until I don't know however old they are. If you just look at the face,
Chubbers.
you just don't.
Androgyny kind of.
Yeah, it's like neither, and then that's where it changes people. It
Yeah.
seems to be that way, because I remember when I was a boy, or sometimes over the phone, my voice was mistaken for a girl's voice, when I spoke to people.
What do they do? It's a archaic practice, but what did they used to do to boys who they wanted to retain their soprano register?
Oh God.
Cut their balls off, right?
Take them to the barber.
The place from which testosterone is produced, I think, isn't it the testes?
Oh yeah.
They cut them off so they could still keep singing in the.
You familiar with the
women's register.
castrati?
It's called
Dovey?
castrati, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a voice type that is obviously illegal, but they used to love cutting boys' dicks and balls off in church.
It wasn't in church. It was at the barber. It was for church. Okay.
At
It's
the barber?
different. Literally, they would take them to the barber to do it. Yeah.
Oh, so they didn't do it in church, but
No,
that
they
it was
didn't do
for
it.
church is not no. There's no.
It's
bearing.
completely more moral that way.
True.
Super more moral.
Yeah, the pro with scissors does it, so it's it's professionally done.
I mean,
Terrible.
He takes the penis and does the sign of the cross over the testicles before he chops them off.
God. And I think this was though because they couldn't have women singing in church at the time, so they had to cut boys' dick balls.
I didn't know that.
Didn't
They
have
couldn't have
nuns?
women.
They had nuns already, didn't
They
they?
did. Okay,
Oh, I mean,
yeah,
they had nuns, but I don't
I
know.
was,
If
that was a total educated guess. So
But okay, were women not allowed to sing? That's something I've never heard. I was raised very Catholic.
Jamie pulled that up.
Yeah, Jamie.
yeah, Jamie, will you pull that out? Yeah. Where's Jay when we need him? He's
Do
downstairs.
it now. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. Were women allowed to sing in church in the year 900? Oh, the first thing that pops up is how did the castratos sing? Okay.
I
women
heard
allowed to
that.
sing
I
in
don't know
church.
how true it is, but I mean, there's a famous history of in art, before women were allowed or black people were allowed, white men would do imitation version. In this case, what boys have to do their own. There's blackface. There's, I think this is part and parcel. What?
Based upon what I'm seeing here, really quick, without diving too into it, it looks like it just might have been as a part of the choir. It was just men in the choir. But I don't know.
So they cut their balls off. So they had sopranos. Otherwise, you don't get sopranos.
You don't get that that 4-part harmony. So, what gets you excited to play the guitar, Dovey?
Imitating castratis. Just loves to play.
Obviously,
he loves to play those solos.
Why'd you even start to begin with?
And do you play any other instruments? I mean, I've seen you play percussion on your channel, but
so yeah, it's guitar, drums. I went to music school for drums because
shit, really?
Where'd you go?
in Lithuania. That was
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in Lithuania.
Most based country.
When did you move here?
When I was 19.
Fucking A.
Like what, 10 years ago? Yeah. Yeah, and then harmonica, and yeah, I think it's like 5 or 6 instruments. And I wanted to play violin when I was 6, but for whatever reason, it's in my culture that a man has to be a manly man at 6. So my dad,
Love it.
they took me to
This is
Lithuania.
yeah. So it was jiu-jitsu. I didn't like that. So martial arts now. Then swimming school. And then I still wanted to do music, 14, 13. Yeah. So that's guitar. And then I went to music school. They didn't have guitar classes available. So I went to drums when I was 14. Yeah. So it kind of started like that.
I started with drums too.
So why did you stop doing drums?
The sheer size of drums, and
It's a bitch.
It's the worst.
When I came to America, there was no place to really like set up drums and to continue drums. It's not really like easy to, especially apartments. It's like good luck practicing drums. So
It's the fucking worst.
I mean, so I still like use that electronic drum pad in my thing.
Yeah.
You can do the like a roll.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like. It's different, so I can still kind of do it, yeah. And it's just a better understanding of the entire music production,
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like one of my favorite parts about arranging songs is knowing where you have to fit in within the context of all the other pieces of the arrangement. And I find that like having played drums and I'm mainly a singer, but that I play guitar and drums and bass and keys and everything it helps me express myself better within the parameters of each particular instrument because I just know where it has to fit in very well because I've made so many recordings at this point, being 38, and I started when I was 13.
My songwriting game got way accelerated when I finally understood what the fuck drums are supposed to do and what feels like a good drum beat. Like actually learning it for a second, like that completely changed the game. Because we get into the guitar virtuosos, right? We're the guys who try and chase that, and it's a lot about breaking those boundaries, which we don't even realize are there when we're younger. And then when you try and make that yourself, you're missing part of the fundaments that make the denial work in the first place.
You mean the fundaments being the parameters of like fitting in with everything else that's in the arrangement?
Yeah, for a rock ensemble anyway. Dude, you were literally telling me the other day. Was it in Forbes? The most like the highest chance of being successful in the film industry is being able to go to the parties and make the connections you need to make or some shit. What was that?
I think it was I don't know the article, but essentially the two components were identified to succeed in Hollywood show business or something. So it's like average talent and ability not to work, which means you don't have to do shift, 2 shifts, 3 shifts a day. So therefore, you can just hang out and do nothing and meet people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those seems to be the main component.
Which is pretty fucking nuts when you think about like the highest likelihood of succeeding is completely counteracted by the hard work you need to do to actually like learn your craft and eat.
You'll provide value too,
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I've had a hell of a time here in the first almost year I've been in Nashville, and I attribute most of it to that I spent years saving up money so that I could not have to tooth and nail make sure every day that I had enough money to put food on the table. So I could be going to, I mean, here in Nashville, going to like Red Door, one of those places on Division Street, is some of the best networking I've ever done in my life.
You don't even go there that often.
I used to, but when I first came to Nashville a few years ago, for like a couple months I lived here. Almost everyone I know here I met because I would go out to the bars almost every night and drink too much and sleep too late and then wake and then the next night do it again.
One of the coolest Nashville success stories I ever heard was a guy who moved here just to be a drummer. No grand things. He just wanted to be a drummer for a living and get paid for it, make his living that way. And he spent 3 months and maxed out 3 credit cards on being downtown, meeting the right people, and buying everyone's drinks.
Yeah.
On credit. He spent $10,000. Got $10,000 into the hole.
Oh, jeez.
But 3 months in, he's on tour full time. That's a huge chance to take. That's like some Kevin Smith Clerks level shit, like pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. But it worked, and he no longer has credit card debt. Mm-hmm. So fucking pretty insane. It is a big part of its networking. Yeah,
and what do you expect to get out of LA? Uniquely, like because you could. I mean, if you want to move to like a music town in America, obviously it's either here or LA or New York, I guess.
Or if you just wanted to move to a beach town, I mean, there's San Diego. Yeah.
But are you going to LA for the music, or is there any other?
I have a good feeling about it. I really don't know. I really don't have a definition for it to give you. If I was like, I could like move to Austin or Nashville, or I would still think about moving to LA. And that seems to be the center of the world. So I'll just go there, because if I was to move anywhere else, I would still be thinking about it. So I need to get it out of my system to see even if I like it, if I love it, or if I hate it. So I'll just get like a year's lease, live there for a year, and I can
for most people, I'd say that's a crappy answer, but I know you well enough that I'm like, okay, I think that's actually reasonable. It makes total sense to me.
No, I believe in the gamble. I believe
yes,
that it's like I can't give you a definition on the ROI.
Yeah.
On the fact that Beverly Hills rent is this much and this is like unsound investment. But it fuels other areas that are not measured by money.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And like I know you well enough that you have a good gauge on that shit. And if it's really calling to you, it's probably a good call.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Although it's also sad to see you move like 10 to 20 hours further away from me.
3.5 hours with an airplane. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, in an airplane. I don't own one of those.
Yeah, it's a ticket. It's a ticket. I'll fly out like one of my girls.
God. Okay, yeah. But first of all, thank you. It makes me feel very special.
It sounds to me like you kind of see it as a high potential for a source of fuel. Kind of because it's
emotional fuel.
Fuel. Yeah. That's what I mean. Insofar
as the belief of what's possible.
Yeah.
I believe that seems to be the catalyst for all and any action. The motivational TED speakers might tell you, it's like persistency, like
perseverance.
Perseverance. Yeah, but what is the catalyst before
Yeah.
What helps you keep going?
The belief that it's even possible. Because if it's like, oh, I don't think that's possible, then there's not going to be persistence. That's not going to be perseverance. That's not going to be resilience. That is the foundation, the belief that something is possible.
Can I quickly segue? Because I think it's a beautiful segue. This podcast was started because of you. It was literally started because of you.
Well, awesome.
I wasn't in a terrible place, but I was still in a place of a more turbulent part of transition. And you were randomly in town doing your thing. We hung out, and you told, like, I heard all the awesome shit that you're getting into, which, like, happy for you.
Thank
and
you,
like
man.
It wasn't like there was bad things happening in my life, but like you could definitely pick up on that, like there was a wall somewhere that wasn't being broken down. And you said to me, Mike, stop saying no to yourself, because the world is going to say no to you enough that you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
And that clicked really fucking hard. And it's like it's also something like I've known for a while, but when you said it to me in that moment, I was just like, yeah, fuck it. You're right. You're 100% right. So now it is manifested.
Well, that's fantastic.
This whole thing.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
This is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, in which case, thanks too, because
he wasn't originally a part of that plan.
yeah, I thought this was happening because we were drunk one night and we were having a sick conversation.
No, it was
and
happening.
you're like, we should broadcast this.
I was happening because I was like, you'd be a great regular guest.
No, that's true. Yeah, it wasn't.
What have you been listening to recently? Sorry.
It's fine. Just put a bunch of music on my phone and I put that on shuffle. Because I tried listening to like YouTube music, and when you put it on shuffle, it directs you to the most streamed songs. Even if you like try to look up just 60s and 70s, you always end up getting like Fleetwood Mac, Journey's greatest hits, and it's like, no, I want like obscure stuff. I want the second or third album, track number 5 or 6. Then so it's like yeah. So it's like just a bunch of Bruce Springsteen right now, all of Journey, all of Foreigner, all of Ry Cooder, all of Mark Knopfler, just on shuffle, and just like, and just then oh wow, I like this one. I like that. The songs I've never heard,
So Metal Sucks just released a headline saying, "Shocker, James Hetfield met with booze just by mentioning Saint Anger."
Wait, met with what?
Okay, so James Hetfield was at a show. He's playing a show, right? And he says, "Hey, it's the anniversary of Saint Anger coming out." And he got
met with like boo. Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah. Fucking alcohol. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, fucking not booze.
Boo apostrophe B-O apostrophe.
Would have been a little bit more interesting. I don't know. How much do you know about Metallica?
I've seen people wear their T-shirt.
So
you're an expert.
Yeah.
So if someone came up to you on the street during one of your performances and they called out one, you wouldn't know where to start.
I can do.
I mean, you listen to 30 seconds and figure it out.
I can sort of do an intro to Nothing Else Matters.
Master of Puppets, come on.
Is that
No.
Oh no, that's fucking Seek and Destroy is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know the intro to Seek and Destroy. I don't know Master of Puppets.
That's a great intro.
But also, what's surprising about being met with booze when you play your least popular,
No, he didn't even play it. He just said it. He mentioned it on stage.
I mean, don't they know? They've got to know.
You're right.
They don't know.
Have you ever listened to anything off of Saint Anger? Are you familiar with like the Saint Anger snare memes?
Is the snare meme? Yeah, it's one of the most famous.
Is that
famously criticized productions? I don't think in public discourse, production and mixing has been ever discussed ever more prevalently in the this album, right? People, you have like random like non-musicians who don't know anything about recording or engineering talking about the snare drum sound.
Let me look up the cover. What's the name of the album?
No. Hold on. I'm gonna play it for you right now without getting copyright stricken. You hear that snare?
It's like in the club.
No, it's not even.
Ping,
oh my
ping,
god!
ping.
It's like a goddamn metal trash can.
I happen to be within the minority who thinks it's kind of cool. Like I'm not gonna
canceled.
say,
You're canceled.
I hate to say it. it was a bold choice that a lot of people hated, and it is kind of I get believing it's obnoxious.
If they would
It
have
was
managed the overtones a little better on it, it would have worked fine.
No, the reason why it was dangerous, and I think therefore useful, was because they didn't.
That's a fucking hot take. All right.
What was the album that they inserted the fucking flyers in every Ernie Ball string pack? For like forever, remember?
I didn't even know that.
Oh,
how
I didn't know
long
that.
ago was that?
Like 10 years ago. Like every Ernie Ball string
Death
pack.
Magnetic. It would be Death Magnetic.
Yeah.
I thought that record sounds pretty sick. I don't know. The
But
mastering is clipping to shit, but like it sounds pretty
yeah.
good. I thought it sounds cool.
Other than the clipping master, I thought it sounded good.
And even the clipping master could be argued for, honestly. And
Not the way that clipped. That clipped so fucking horribly.
digital shitty. Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
is. It's just, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. It's not the worst.
It's pretty damn close to the worst.
It's like
pretty
You
horrible.
It's one of
should
those things
contact
that, like,
Ernie
is-
Ball and promote your podcast and insert a flyer in every Ernie Ball string pack.
I
I
got
can't
a
imagine what's
connection.
more offensive. Like nothing though, is more offensive in that domain than whenever how many years ago it was that U2. I think it was their new album automatically downloaded onto everyone who had
An iPod.
iPod or something like that.
Back when iPod was a thing.
Automatically downloaded onto everyone's device.
Wow.
Can you
don't remember
imagine?
that?
It's like a virus.
Yeah, it was literally a virus,
Yeah.
yes.
Non-consensual.
Wow.
Like if you need more evidence that Apple thinks it knows better than you.
If I could
Imagine being able to do that though, right?
yeah, I would make something so bad on purpose because
Really?
everyone would hear it anyways. You make something good because you want more people to hear it. What if you have a guarantee that everyone will nope, without a choice, will have it on their device? Make just Yoko Ono, just like
And just
hit
make just a
snare bucket, Home Depot bucket.
Yeah.
It's
I've
like
done
it
that.
was an artistic choice, okay?
Yeah.
And we used like a $3,000 microphone, sponsored by Sweetwater. You know,
I wonder how much of like that you can bank on creating something that will be unanimously despised, if that has anything to say about the objectivity
what if you
of
could
art,
do an
right?
album equivalent of the movie The Room by Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah.
But on purpose.
That's Lulu. Lulu is the collaboration between Lou Reed and Metallica. It's an absolute abomination.
So many people love it though.
Wow.
I don't know anyone that loves
So
it.
dude, look at this. Look at the stream count. I mean, it's like
No,
obviously people
okay.
love it.
Stream count could just be for again the lulls. Like again, Tommy Wiseau's The Room. I don't think anyone actually.
I think I want to make a bad album, like on purpose, like the worst possible album.
That's some Mike
if you
Patton
want
shit.
if you want a collaborator, I'm just saying.
I think you're too good. I think you're too good for this.
Too good.
Oh,
Too good to be bad.
lies.
Too good to be bad.
I can dismiss all of my what do you call it, misgivings and apprehensions immediately.
I saw a drunk guy.
I talked about castrati weird shit. Okay, I can make a bad album.
Take that monologue and edit it and make it like a
EDM trance.
yeah,
fucking-
yeah. And they like
God.
cut the cross and cut the cross. And like background, like east west, like
Yeah.
Unironically, this would be the man to produce the arrangement and mix it. That's like
shit.
what's
That's
right up your
too
alley.
good.
I am-
That's too
I am
good. It's too good.
I am suicidal, so maybe I've heard.
Either way, is there anything you'd like to leave our audience with, Dovydas?
Let's see. Who's the sponsor today?
Nope, no one yet.
Okay.
We don't have the numbers yet.
Well, what if we had a sponsor? I would say don't buy it.
Well, for future reference.
Next episode, Steve I, John Petrucci, and Tommy and Emmanuel discusses castrati.
Honestly, that's not completely off the table. I'm just saying.
It's on
not
the
completely
fucking table, yeah.
It's definitely on the table. I mean, we'll see if it
They're
happens
literally
or
coming
not.
to
Tommy
Nashville.
Emmanuel is a goal of ours. He's my
It's not okay.
one of my besties,
He's
Mike
lit,
Dawes.
dude.
Do you know who Mike Dawes is?
Yeah,
he's one of my best friends.
Tommy Emmanuel's going to be in Nashville. I sent him a bunch of pictures.
He lives in Nashville.
Oh, he lives
Yeah,
in...
he lives here.
Tommy Emmanuel
Yeah.
like
lives in Nashville.
Okay.
Why is he not here?
Because he's always busy.
So-
that's not a joke. Like he's busy all the
Yeah,
fucking
Mike
time.
Dawes is one of my best friends, and he's his accompaniment on his tours all the time.
Yeah,
he's always with
Mike
him,
Dawes usually
accompanying him.
opens for Tommy. I should say usually,
book
but
him like
recently.
6 months in advance.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just have to go through Mike and also our friend Gareth Pearson.
It's also gonna be
knows.
it's also gonna be very helpful if we actually have like a catalog to be like, hey, this is what you're getting into, instead of just like my friends, random friends who fuck cares, you know?
We want to establish ourselves
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, but
let's get a little bit of a back catalog going on. You know,
it's slightly less than highly likely.
yeah, I would agree
But
with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Slightly less than highly likely.
Yeah.
That's a great song title too. Honestly, anyone watching, take it, run with it, love it.
Yeah.
All right, Dovey, thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
brother.
Thank you
for
so
having
much,
me.
man. Thank you so much.
Safe travels,
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
I'd love to have you back on if it's possible.
Yeah, I'll
Fucking-
be traveling through Nashville on my way back. Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Sweet.
Big dicks, sign of the cross, chop off the balls. Bye.
Bye.